Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Brian Sampson from Dunking with Wolves, coming at you with another Brian's Breakdown, where I'm going to take a look at the film about the Minnesota Timberwolves' ugly, ugly loss to the Indiana Pacers last night. You can find me on Twitter at Brian Sampson NBA, and I'd appreciate it too if you'd subscribe to my YouTube channel and give this video the old thumbs up. So for this episode, I'm going to try to give us some of the positives from last night's game against the Pacers, but also focus on exactly what went wrong for Minnesota. And without Jimmy Butler, why did the defense suffer so badly? So without further ado, I'm going to jump right in. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and get all of the defensive plays out of the way so we can go ahead and move on after that. So this first play comes here early in the first quarter, and it's a simple dribble handoff. And the thing that sticks out to me the most is how much Timberwolves players struggled to get over the screens. So this play, forget about Towns for this play. We'll rip on him later. But Andrew Wiggins, after his man receives the dribble handoff, he gets screened there by Sabonis, and he struggles to get through. You can see there he gets stuck on the back end, and that basically leaves a 2-on-1 situation with Towns as the only defender. So Towns does the best that he can in this situation, but unfortunately, not many people can survive a 2-on-1 attack, especially on the isolated side like that. And so it's up to those guards or wing players by the Timberwolves to fight through that in a more clean manner and to give their big man some help. This next play comes just a few possessions later, and it's another ball screen. Surprise, surprise. This time Sabonis sets a ball screen onto Jeff Teague, and Teague forces him on the same side of the court. After Teague then slides with him, he's actually in a pretty good defending position. However, Towns sits there a little bit longer than maybe he needs to in order to ensure that Collison can't drive the lane. Collison then drops it out to Sabonis, who calmly hits down the jumper. If you're able to check out our Rivals perspective this morning on Dunking with Wolves, you'll notice that Tony East of Locked On Pacers said that the Pacers like to run a lot of these pick and pop plays. And here it works perfectly as Sabonis is wide open after Towns is slow to recover. And Shabazz, he can't help either. As you see, he's on Bogdanovic, who's a lethal three-point shooter. So sometimes that weak side defender might be able to slide over and help, but in this situation, he's stuck. He doesn't want to get too far away from his man or give up a three-point shot. Most of the defense was bad for the Timberwolves, but even when they played good defense, it was to no avail. Check out this play where Indiana does a great job of getting the ball moving. Starts with the little dribble handoff, who then throws it to the weak side corner, who then comes back to Collison on the top of the key. After that, Jeff Teague gets a ball screen set on him and actually does a really good job of fighting through the screen this time, and Towns does a good job of helping and then recovering to his man as well. So Teague is still in good guarding position, doesn't fall for the pump fake. The ball is then dropped back out to Victor Oladipo, who has Andrew Wiggins guarding him. Oladipo crosses over, drives to the lane, does a little pullback, and Wiggins is still in a good defensive position, has his hands up to contest the shot. However, Oladipo is just too much on this night, and he's able to drain the shot for 2 points. When the second unit entered the game, they did a great job of showing urgency and hustle and getting Minnesota back into the game. This possession is a mixed bag of sorts, but there are a lot of good things, and it ends in a fast break layup for Minnesota. The ball starts by getting swung to the corner, and Crawford gets a little hung up on the screen. However, when the ball is entered down to the low block, Towns does a great job of leaving his man and coming off for help. However, he needs to work on staying vertical. As you can see, his arms are completely over the defender there, and he's extremely lucky he did not get called for the foul. However, Minnesota is able to recover, and the ball is swung up top, where Tyus Jones then recovers to his man. As it's swung, Minnesota does a great job. You see Towns again doing a wonderful job of helping. Tyus slides over to his man to make sure the pass isn't easily made. And then Jamal Crawford comes off his man as well to swipe the ball away for a steal. And then an alley-oop dunk to Shabazz Muhammad. Just to contrast on that last play, here's another set from a couple minutes later, and this time I want you to focus on Sabonis' defense on Towns and how vertical he remains. So Towns is able to receive the ball in the high post here, and after he goes to work on Sabonis, Sabonis does a great job. He keeps his arms straight up in the air, which forces Towns to lose the ball, and is very good defense. That's exactly how you're taught. Fortunately for Minnesota, Towns doesn't give up on the play, throws it back out to Crawford, who drains the three, but as far as verticality, that's what I meant on the last play when talking about Towns. Moving into the second half, this is when the Indiana Pacers really started to make their run. They once again do a great job of using ball movement by swinging it a couple times before getting it into their pick and roll. Teague gets a ball screen set on him for the first time, and they do a great job of recovering and fighting through. Then they set a second ball screen back to the middle again, and Teague again does a great job of sliding his feet and fighting through the screen. However, the third ball screen is when problems arise, and Teague does a great job recovering. However, I'm not sure why Towns is leaving his feet at this point. The ball gets dropped back to Towns' man, and as you can see, he gets turned around, and I'm noticing a nasty habit of Towns with that. Instead of just sliding his feet and keeping his body open to his defender, a lot of times he ends up turning his back to his defender and getting whirlwind around in the lane like that, which gives his man an easy lane, and on this play, an easy shot for the bucket. This last defensive play I'm going to show you outlines the lack of defensive effort that plagued Minnesota all night long. So it starts out with a simple ball screen at the top of the play, set by Sabonis, and Towns does a great job of defending the ball screen and keeping the ball handler in front of him. The passes then skip to the weak side, and Teague does a good job of closing out on Darren Collison. However, Towns is where the problem arises, as he never recovers to his man and simply sits in the lane and becomes an observer instead of a participant. The ball is then swung back out to Sabonis on top of the key, with Towns still stuck deep into the middle of the lane, and Sabonis knocks down the wide open J. Now let's move into some of the offensive plays for Minnesota, as Towns was on the verge of having a very good night. One of his big slams came in the middle of the second quarter on this inbounds play. As you can see, Jamal Crawford comes across the formation and curls, which is the key part of this play because Towns' man is then forced to help. Crawford then drops it back off to Towns, who is slicing down the middle of the lane, and Towns throws down a monster jam for and one. And you can really see the passion in Towns as he flexes on the crowd right here. And this is an important play moving forward because it's one of the major sets that Minnesota runs, and if they can continue to have success like they did on this play, it means that good things are about to come. For all the lack of effort Towns shows on the defensive end, he more than makes up for it on the offensive end, especially on the boards. You can see as this shot goes up, he smartly crashes the boards, maybe gets away with a little push-off, but who cares. He's able to corral the board in traffic and then fights through and doesn't allow it to be tangled up. He then swings through the middle and gives a nice hook shot in the middle of a whole bunch of Indiana Pacers defenders. This is really a key aspect of Towns' game, is to be able to clean up the boards on these missed shots, which is a huge part of what makes him such a special player. This next play came in the middle of the third quarter after Towns was on one of his big scoring runs. You can see the added defense attention as they send a double team over to him on the low block. Towns actually shows off a very nice passing, which I think he has a lot of room to develop and the skills necessary to do it. He finds Shabazz on the weak block, who is late cutting to the hoop, but it doesn't really matter on this play as Towns finds him for Shabazz to lay it in with his strong left hand. We're going to end on an extreme high here, and I'm going to show you this one last play. This is one of the staples of Minnesota's offense, and it comes off of their rub series. So you can see that Jamal Crawford is setting a screen onto Andrew Wiggins' man, who's then going to curl to the low block. So the first look in this set is whoever's posting up on the low block. This time Tyus Jones decides it's not there, so he swings it back to Belly, who then swings it to Crawford on the weak side. Belly then comes down to set a screen on Wiggins' man, and this is where you'll see a lot of those alley-oops from Minnesota as Wiggins tries to backdoor it. However, Leaf does a great job of helping out, and Belly pops and knocks down the three. This is great recognition by everybody on the play, and it's worked to perfection. All right, well, there you have it, an inside look at exactly what went wrong for the Minnesota Timberwolves last night. The good news for Minnesota is that they don't really have much time to fret about their loss, as they have another game right away against the Detroit Pistons and hope to turn things around. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at Brian Sampson NBA, and I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe to the YouTube channel and give this video the old thumbs up. Hope to see you guys next time.